Hi there, I'm Erin Campbell with Beacon Financial Strategies, and I wanted to jump on this video real quick to give everybody an update on kind of everything I know that's going on with tax season and the IRS. Now that it's February, I feel like there's a lot going on, and I just wanted to make sure that I made everybody aware of what I know. So first I wanted to talk about how far behind the IRS is. Last year with COVID, the IRS got pretty far behind. The employees at the IRS are not allowed to work from home. There's obviously security reasons for that. And so when everything shut down in the spring, they went home, they weren't allowed to work. So what that meant was everything got backed up. The mail got backed up. And I think I've heard that they receive about 1 million pieces of mail a week. At the height of kind of COVID, they were 10 million pieces of mail behind. I've heard within about October, November timeframe, they were only 5 million pieces of mail behind, but that's caused a lot of issues. And I've heard from a lot of my clients that maybe tax estimate checks have not been deposited. They're not receiving, you're getting correspondence from them and they're saying they haven't received something from you that you've obviously sent. There's just a lot going on. And then if you try to call them, there's wait times are terrible. Maybe they don't even know where the mail is. So all of this is kind of planting the seed for what's going forward with the 2020 tax season. Everything is pretty far behind. The employees there are pretty overworked. And so I just wanted to tell you, number one, if you're having any of these issues, don't worry, they're going to catch back up. Everything will get resolved eventually. Don't send them lots and lots of extra correspondence. Don't, stop payment on checks. Don't send them a new check. Like just kind of be patient and wait as much as you can. And I tell you all this because what that means is that tax season is going to be affected a little bit by this. Number one, the first day to e-file was February 12th, which was about a week ago. And that's about 2 weeks later than typical. And so they're already kind of behind the 8 ball on this. Many of the forms, even though we're allowed to electronically file, a lot of the forms the IRS has not released. They're not ready to be e-file ready. So that just means that while we could e-file, it's going to get rejected because a lot of the forms that we typically use are not up to date. And then as they update them, then the software companies, say TurboTax, all those companies, they have to update the forms as well. So there's just delays and delays and delays. And so, it's going to cause some issues. And I just wanted to make everybody aware of that. Another thing that we're getting a lot of questions about was the economic stimulus payment. As everybody pretty much knows, the first payment was paid last summer. The second payment came out in January of 2021. Some people received them as late as, February. It is still counted on that 2020 tax return, meaning that we have to account for it. If you did not receive it, then you could be eligible for a credit on your tax return to receive extra refund money. So this is causing a little bit of a hang up because since the second payment was just mailed in January, some people haven't received it yet. And so we're kind of waiting a little while because we want to make sure that, that check was received in the mail or in your bank account. And then a lot of people are asking about that third stimulus payment, which I'm going to talk about in a second. If you're a little bit concerned about whether or not, did you get the payment? You don't remember how much. You can go to this IRS website that I've reflected here and kind of get a review of your account. And it should tell you how much you received and about the date or so that it was received. There is another bill in Congress. I'm sure you've heard of it. A lot of what the news is talking about is that there may be a third stimulus payment with that bill. Of course, we don't know how much that'll be, what the income limits are going to be. Is it going to be based on the 2019 tax return? Is it going to be based on the 2020 tax return? It's a lot to kind of unpack there. There's also some things that we've heard might be in that bill that could change the 2020 tax return. Something I've heard is the unemployment benefits might not be taxed. And so there's some changes there that are going to be retroactive to the 2020 tax return, potentially. We don't really know for sure until the bill is actually passed. And then it's kind of a trickle down effect because what happens is the federal government decides what they're going to put on the tax returns and if it's going to be retroactive to 2020. But then the states, each individual state has to vote and decide if they're going to conform or not with the new tax bill. So there's a lot of hangups there. So if a law was passed, say in March, that affects the 2020 tax returns, it could affect just the federal return, but then the states as well. So there's some reasons to kind of hold off on filing your taxes until you have all the information. There could be a delay in filing deadlines. We're getting a lot of questions on this. It really comes down, it's going to be dependent on the IRS. It's going to be dependent on whether or not they think they can handle their workload. Publicly, the IRS commissioner has come out and said that if a third stimulus package gets passed, say in March, and the IRS is responsible for mailing off those checks, then he thinks that there's a strong chance that they're going to delay the filing deadlines because they just can't process the returns and send out stimulus checks all at the same time. So what does that mean? It means estimated tax due dates might be changed, extension dates might be changed. It could change, the date for when you would have to deposit retirement plan contributions, say IRAs, Roths, but also small business, 401k, SEP, Simple, all that stuff. And so it's going to give you potentially a little more time to get those deposits in. And so, there's a lot there. It's not the reason why we would delay filing the return, but it's something to think about as we think about what's going on, whether or not, and if you owe, you may want to wait to pay anyway. So. And lastly, I just kind of wanted to speak to the fact that businesses, small businesses especially, are going to probably have a lot of delays in their tax returns. They're going to see a lot of extensions. The reason is, I'm sure you've heard PPP loans, whether or not the expenses were going to be deductible on the business return. That was up in the air up until that bill was passed in December. And now they are, in fact, deductible, at least at the federal level. Many states have not conformed to that yet. There's also some forgiveness issues with, if the loan is forgiven and how you account for that. So there's it's going to delay some business returns. And what that means for individuals is if you're a shareholder, say of a small business, then your K-1 is likely going to be delayed. And so it's just something to keep in mind that might delay, you being able to process your own individual return. So all in all, what should you do? At least for now, we're really encouraging people to delay filing the tax return until there's just some more certainty. Some more certainty around this new tax law, some new certainty around the economic stimulus payment, if there's a third one, if there's anything that affects the 2020 returns. There's just so much uncertainty right now that we just feel like it might make a lot of sense to just delay filing the return. And then just be patient. I mean, there's not a lot we can do about the situation. And so the more we can all just be patient and understand that, it may take some time to figure out. And of course, as we know more, we will obviously do what we can to communicate that information with you, but just kind of maybe sit on the return, process it up to the point where if you're going to owe or not, and then maybe just delay pushing the button to file it. All right, well, that was it for today. If you have any questions, as always, reach out to us. We're happy to help or answer any questions. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.